Have you ever wondered why some teams work brilliantly together and others struggle to get along? As a manager, have you wrestled with where to put your energy in order to get the best teamwork within your team? Well, in this video, I'm going to share a model, the Tuckman model for team development, that will be able to help you. It defines the different stages of a team's evolution. And then I'm going to share practical strategies that you can employ at each stage to help your team become a high-performing team. At the end, I'm going to share what I see the most influential leaders do that many others don't, that make all the difference to developing and leading their team brilliantly. First off, the model. The model is the Tuckman model. It was developed by Bruce Tuckman in 1965, and it breaks the evolution of a team into 5 stages: forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. The challenge for managers is to know where their team is in that team evolution and move their team as quickly as possible through the forming, storming, norming phase so that they arrive in the performing, indeed high-performing stage as quickly as possible and stay there for as long as possible. Many teams never really get out of forming and storming, and that's because there's such a high level of change within the workplace. And if you are not careful, the poor behaviours that can often exist in the storming phase can become normalised. And that's often when you can see quite toxic team environments with cliques and sub-teams and an inability to communicate and collaborate with each other well. So it's such an important role of a manager and a leader to guide their team on this journey to high performance. What I'm talking about here is not micromanagement of super organizing your team and knowing everything that they're doing. It is about creating an environment ultimately of empowerment and autonomy. But you have to help the team get there. And as a result, you need a plan, you need to be intentional, and you need to give it time. Let's go through each stage of the model and see what evidence exists that you may see that says this is where my team is, and then I'll share those strategies that help you. The first stage is forming, and I call this the politeness and formality zone. Everybody's on their best behavior because they've only just met. People are cautious, maybe in sharing what they actually think about a given situation. They're weighing up other people and the lay of the land. Ultimately, there's a lot of social niceties involved in all of this. And your job in this environment is to lay very strong foundations. You can do that by doing 3 things. The first is super clear goals, objectives, and priorities. And not just to each individual, to the team as a whole. So everybody is clear what it is the team, as well as the individual, is there to do. And the clearer you can get that, the better. So there's less misunderstanding. The second thing is that in doing that, you often have to spend time on clarifying the roles, responsibilities, and indeed interdependencies between each other, so that it is clear perhaps where handoffs start and finish, where you're expecting people to work together to create great solutions. It can also help you to identify all those cross-functional friction points where your team finishes and the next team starts, and make people aware that this is something that will need time and attention. The third thing is to be intentional in helping your team get to know each other. So using icebreaker activities in meetings for a while. Relationships take time to build, so you want to be quite purposeful in helping people to get to know each other. You might also think of social moments that help the individuals in the team become a team. Maybe when everybody's in the office, you do a lunch together, sorting out celebrating birthdays and things like that. Social moments that bring cohesion to the team make such a difference here. Step 2 is storming. So the rubber starts to hit the road. Everybody's starting to do the work. And this is the tension zone. This is where different personalities might see things differently, might clash. Emotions can rise up more quickly because it's all new. Change can be very uncomfortable for people, and therefore emotions can often come to the surface a lot more quickly. You can find that the team divides into cliques or sub-teams, which is very difficult because it's creating barriers within your team or with other teams and is not helpful to collaboration. Your job as a leader here is to rise above any tension and guide everybody through it. And I think a great start to that is being open that this is kind of what we expect. When you're managing change, there is bound to be tension, but creating an open environment for communication and diverse perspectives, other people's views, thinking about how you manage that within meetings, having time to discuss. The mindset that you want to encourage everyone is not to dwell on all these problems, but to have a proactive problem-solving mindset. So using language like, how can we, when looking at a problem, so that you can help guide the team out and solve the problem of it, as opposed to dwelling on the problem. Next, if conflict does arrive, you need to mediate and resolve that quickly. Don't let it fester, because it can have such a detrimental effect long term, and it erodes trust within the team. You need to address those conflicts quickly, but also in a fair way, communicating why the answer is the answer and being inclusive in the way you communicate and solve those problems. The third thing you can do is be intentional on team building activities in this stage. Now this, if you've got the budget, might be a team building away day that helps people get to know each other, solve problems and work together in a completely different environment. I find many people do not have access to that budget. So look at ways in which you could do team building activities in work, in meetings, social moments, but be creative in developing ways in which you get the team thinking about being a team and working together as a team and nurturing that problem-solving mindset. The third stage is norming. Norming comes about when you've done those activities and the team starts to come out of it. In that situation, you often feel a sense of momentum. And it's a great place to be for everyone because they're like, oh, it's not as bad as it was and things are getting better. What's happening at this stage is norms are being established, hopefully very positive norms. And the values that you've been laying down in the team are starting to be demonstrated. You may also see that individuals in the team value each other and the strengths that different people in the team have and bring to the team. There's an awareness of the team together rather than lots of individuals trying to cooperate and work together. It's much more a team mindset. And ultimately, you should be seeing a big improvement in team communication and collaboration. Now, some teams can flatline at norming and be satisfied with norming, but I know you're not that kind of person. You want to lead the best team that you possibly can. So there's the important strategies that take you on to high performing that you need to employ when you're in this stage. First off, promoting that team cohesion and celebrating the successes. Positive feedback is your friend here. Every time you see something that is evidence of the fact that the team is moving forward and becoming high performing, remember to draw attention to it, to praise those the individuals involved. And what you're saying is, this is great. Do more of this. And the more you can do it, the more the team will understand what good looks like. By this point, you should be benefiting from the regular check-ins through your one-on-ones, but also the routines of your team meetings. You want your team meetings to become high-performing discussion areas, so you need to be intentional in those meetings and role model the behavior that you would like your team members to conduct themselves when they're elsewhere, because they will learn so much off you. Ask people in the one-to-ones, how do they feel it's going? Get that one-on-one feedback, as well as getting feedback within your team meetings. Now, feedback is actually a very important part of the norming phase, because ultimately what you want to be nurturing is that feedback moves not just from you down or your team back up to you, across the team, that the environment is trusting enough that people start to share feedback openly with each other, because they know that they're all on the same side and they all help each other achieve their goals. So talking about that and helping people be able to have those conversations will make a big difference as you move through this norming phase into performing. The fourth stage is performing, and I prefer to say high performing, because I think it reflects the ambition that you should want for your team in the quality of work and teamwork that exists there. This high performing zone, you will see high levels of team collaboration and communication. The team will start to be more agile. They will start to solve problems without involving you, because they have built those skills and they know each other and feel comfortable with that problem solving mindset. You want to be thinking about how you delegate to give more autonomy and more decision-making authority through into your team. The more you can do that in a high-performing team, the faster it will move. The culture of continuous learning and improvement is so valuable to a high-performing team. You want to be promoting knowledge sharing, so faster, with more depth, so that you are helping each individual improve their skills, improve their knowledge, and also at a team level, building that bench strength of knowledge and expertise within your team. This is about facilitating moments for knowledge sharing, where people in your team can teach each other how to do something or explain how something they do works, so everybody understands how things fit together. You might do that to a cross-functional team, so that you're building up that cross-functional workflow strength that a high-performing team can do. We've got to high performing, and then normally what comes along is an organizational change, or you may be leaving the team, or the project finishes. People, when they have been in a high performing team environment, can genuinely mourn losing that team. Your role as a leader is to do two things well. First, celebrate the amazing achievement of the team before you finish, because not that many teams get to that high performing zone. And if you have led your team, people will love being in this team. Take time to celebrate and recognize what a brilliant achievement it is. Provide closure and transition to whatever is next. So there may be learnings, there may be conversations that prepare that individual so they start to think about the next stage, because the individuals in that team could be lost for a little while. So you play a key role in guiding them on to do that all over again. That's the 5 stages of the Tuckman model. I said I would share what I see the most influential and impactful leaders do that I don't see all of them do. There's 2 things. The first is that they adopt an empowering mindset to collaboration. They see their role as not a doer in the team. They see their role in developing that team as a guide, as an unblocker, and as a coach. So guiding the team to what high performance is, then unblocking. So when you get a challenge, you play a role in helping the team or the individual unblock that and move faster. And thirdly, coaching and developing their team and building their skills so that the team gets there faster. The capability of the team grows. The second thing they do is they recognize all the teams they're in, not just the team they happen to be the most senior person in. So many people feel confident doing this when they're in charge, but you have to recognize all the teams you're in. So there's your cross-functional team, your peer group of teams. There is maybe a project team you're involved with. And what the best leaders do is recognize where that team is within its journey to development and recognize the role they can play in helping it to develop as a guide, an unblocker, and a coach. And they do not rely on their hierarchy to do that. So leadership at all levels, not just when you're in charge. And there is one skill that makes a massive difference for these people. They are excellent communicators and they know how to influence other people. If this is you, this is the video to go to next, where I explain how to have an influential conversation and the communication skills that make all the difference in connecting and influencing others. So check it out here.